Level 1. The civilian. You are nobody. That is not an insult. That is your official classification inside the most powerful megacorporation on the planet. Civilian. Unaffiliated. Breathing air that Arasaka filters, drinking water that Arasaka purifies, living in a city that Arasaka built, owns, and could erase from a server if the right executive signed the right document. You live in the outer districts of Night City. The buildings here are old and patched with cheap polymer panels. The neon signs flicker because the maintenance contracts expired years ago and nobody renewed them. The streets smell like synth food fumes and exhaust from vehicles that were already outdated when your parents were young. You have a neural port behind your ear but nothing installed in it. The port came standard. The software costs money you don't have. Every day you pass people whose eyes move differently than yours. Faster. Processing things you can't see. Interfacing with a layer of reality that exists on top of the physical one. You can see the layer but you cannot touch it. Not yet. You work whatever work you can find. Delivery contracts, data entry, physical labor in sectors of the city where automation hasn't fully arrived yet because the machines cost more than humans do in this district. You are cheaper than a robot. That is your primary value in the current economy. You eat. You sleep. You survive. Survival is not nothing. In Night City, survival is actually a skill. Arasaka is everywhere and nowhere in your life simultaneously. Their logo appears on the water purification notices that come to your apartment. Their security contractors patrol the commercial blocks 3 sectors over. Their advertisements play on every surface that has a screen, which is every surface. Arasaka wants you to know they exist. They want you to feel their presence the way you feel weather. Ambient. Inescapable. Simply the condition of the world you inhabit. You have applied to Arasaka 3 times. Entry-level positions. Facility maintenance, logistics support, data verification. Each time you received an automated response informing you that your application was received and that all candidates would be evaluated according to current staffing requirements. You never heard anything after that. The automated message was probably generated before you were born. It has been sending the same response to rejected applicants for 30 years. You apply again. This time something is different. Level 2. The contracted worker. You are inside now. Barely. The contract is 6 months, renewable at Arasaka's discretion, non-exclusive, which means they can terminate it at any time for any reason or no reason at all. You are a contractor, not an employee. The distinction matters enormously. Employees have protections. Contractors have invoices. Your assignment is facility support in an Arasaka commercial tower in the mid-city zone. You clean things. You move things. You stand near doors and make sure the right people go through them and the wrong people don't. The work is physical and repetitive and you are good at it because you show up on time and you don't complain and you don't steal. The building is a different world from the outer districts. The air is temperature controlled. The surfaces are clean in a way that suggests they have never been anything other than clean. The people who work here full-time move with a particular kind of confidence that you recognize immediately as the confidence of people who have never seriously worried about whether they would eat this week. You study them. Not obviously. You watch how they carry themselves, how they speak to each other, what they wear, where they eat lunch, which elevators they use. You are doing research. You understand that you are at the bottom of something very large and very structured and that the path upward runs through understanding how people who are higher up behave before you are close enough to observe them directly.
Greetings.
You are assigned a supervisor named Tanaka. He is 12 years older than you and has been with Arasaka for 9 of those years. He is efficient and fair and completely uninterested in your ambitions. His job is to make sure the contracted workers perform their functions without incident. He is good at his job. You make a point of making his job easy. At the end of the 6th month your contract is renewed. This is not guaranteed. 4 of the 8 contractors who started with you are not renewed. You are. You do not celebrate. You note it. You continue. Level 3. The entry-level employee. It took 14 months of contract work. 14 months of showing up early and leaving late and volunteering for the shifts nobody wanted and learning the names of every full employee in your section and their supervisors and their supervisors' supervisors. 14 months of being exactly the person the organization needed you to be before the organization decided you were worth the cost of actual employment. The offer comes through an internal message. Position available. Facilities and operations, grade 1. Salary, benefits, the possibility of advancement. The message is only 3 sentences long. It is the most important 3 sentences you have ever received. You accept before the message finishes loading. Being a grade 1 employee inside Arasaka is not glamorous. The work is similar to the contract work. But the difference is not in the tasks. The difference is in what the employment represents. You are inside the structure now. Not contracted to it. Not adjacent to it. Inside it. The structure has rules and hierarchies and paths that connect one level to the next. You can see those paths now from the inside in a way that you could not see them from outside. You receive a low-level security clearance. It allows you access to internal communications channels and certain databases that are invisible to contractors. You begin reading everything available to you. Not because you need to for your current job. Because you need to for the next one. You also receive something you did not expect. An Arasaka identification implant. Subcutaneous. Left wrist. It interfaces with every door and system in any Arasaka facility globally. You are now a piece of data in the largest corporate database in the world. Your location, your access history, your biometric readings during work hours. All of it is recorded. All of it belongs to Arasaka. You signed the consent form without reading it carefully. Everyone does. You go back and read it afterward. It takes 3 hours. You understand approximately 60% of it. The 60% you understand is enough to know that you have agreed to things that would have seemed extraordinary a year ago and now seem simply like the cost of being employed. Level 4. The Specialist. 2 years of Grade 1. Then 18 months of Grade 2. Then a lateral transfer to the Corporate Security Division that you engineered by spending 4 months cultivating a relationship with a Grade 4 administrator who needed someone with your operational knowledge of the facility systems. The transfer was not a promotion in title. But it was a promotion in proximity to power. And proximity to power is how you move upward in an organization like this one. You are a security specialist now. Your job involves monitoring systems, analyzing threat data, and coordinating responses to low-level security incidents within a designated sector of mid-city operations. You carry a weapon for the first time. A standard-issue Arasaka smart pistol that links to your neural port through a targeting interface that cost the company more than your annual salary from 2 years ago. The weapon knows who you are. It will not fire for anyone else. You have also received your first significant cybernetic upgrade courtesy of Arasaka's Employee Enhancement Program. Enhanced optical implants. They allow you to see in low light, to zoom to distances the unaugmented eye cannot reach, to record everything you observe in high resolution directly to an internal drive. You are beginning to interface with the world the way the people in the upper floors of the tower have always interfaced with it. The layer of reality you could see but not touch is now partially accessible to you. You run threat assessments. You write incident reports. You attend briefings that contain information classified above your clearance level, which means you receive edited versions of information and are expected to work with the gaps. You learn to read the gaps. What is not said in an Arasaka briefing often tells you more than what is said. You have also begun to understand something fundamental about the organization. Arasaka does not operate like the megacorporation it appears to be from the outside. From the outside it looks like a single entity with a single direction and a single set of interests. From the inside it looks like a collection of competing factions held together by a shared name, a shared logo, and the iron will of a family that has never fully trusted anyone outside its bloodline. The internal politics are ancient and intricate, and they have been running longer than Night City itself. Learning to navigate them is its own kind of expertise. Level 5. The Field Operative. The promotion to Field Operative does not come with a ceremony. It comes with a new assignment, a new handler, and a briefing that lasts 6 hours and covers things that are never discussed outside of secure facilities. You sign additional agreements. The agreements use words like confidentiality and consequence and permanent in ways that leave no ambiguity about what happens to people who violate them. Your work now takes you outside the building. Into the city. Into situations that require judgment and force and the ability to make decisions in real time without the ability to consult anyone above you in the chain of command. You are an instrument of corporate will operating in a world that does not always cooperate with corporate needs. Your job is to make it cooperate. You run extractions. You run surveillance operations. You deliver messages to people who did not want to receive them and retrieve items from people who did not want to give them up. You operate in the gray spaces between what Arasaka officially acknowledges doing and what Arasaka actually does. Those spaces are large. They are where most of the real work happens. Night City reveals itself differently to you now. You know which buildings are owned by shell companies that trace back to Arasaka treasury accounts. You know which fixers work under Arasaka contracts while appearing to be independent. You know which corporate officials from other megacorporations are receiving payments from Arasaka funds and what those payments purchase. The city is a network of arrangements and obligations and leverage. You have become a node in that network. You have also learned something about yourself in this work. You are capable of things you did not know you were capable of. Not all of them are things you are proud of. The work requires a compartmentalization that you have become good at. What happens in the field stays in a part of your mind that you have learned to close a door on when you return to the parts of your life that exist outside the assignment. That door is important. You maintain it carefully. You have seen what happens to operatives who lose the ability to close it. Level 6. The Senior Operative and Team Leader. You have been in the field for 4 years. You have run 83 documented operations. Dozens more that do not appear in any documentation. You have a record that speaks for itself in the language of results. Results are the only currency that matters at this level. You lead a team now. For operatives who are earlier in their trajectory than you are. You remember being where they are. You try to give them what you needed and did not have at that stage. Clarity about objectives. Honest assessment of risk. The understanding that the organization will support them to the extent that support serves the organization's interests and not one step further. This is the lesson that separates the senior operatives from the ones who don't make it to senior. The organization is not your family. It is not loyal to you. It is loyal to outcomes. As long as your outcomes align with its needs, the relationship functions. The moment they diverge, you are a problem to be managed. Understanding this is not cynicism. It is survival. The operatives who believed the organization cared about them personally are the ones who were most devastated when it demonstrated that it didn't. You do not want to be devastated. You want to be clear. You also begin, at this level, to understand the scope of what Arasaka actually is. Not the corporation as described in financial reports and press releases. The actual entity. The centuries of accumulated power. The military capability that rivals nation-states. The intelligence apparatus that has assets in every major government on the planet. The technology division that is working on things that would reshape the relationship between human consciousness and death itself. You are a small piece of a very large machine. The machine does not require you to understand its full purpose in order to use you. But you have been studying long enough and closely enough to begin to see the shape of what you are part of. That shape is extraordinary. It is also terrifying. You hold both of those things at once. Level 7. The Division Manager. You are out of the field. Mostly. You still go out when the operation requires someone with your specific combination of skills and clearance and the kind of judgment that only comes from having done the work yourself for years. But your primary function now is management. You oversee a division of 43 personnel across 3 operational categories. You set objectives. You allocate resources. You evaluate performance. You make recommendations about personnel that can end careers or accelerate them. You attend meetings now that you were previously excluded from. You sit in rooms with people whose names you recognized for years before you ever shared a physical space with them. You are measured against them constantly, not in any formal process but in the invisible ongoing assessment that happens in every room where ambitious people gather. Who speaks with confidence? Who defers too quickly? Who demonstrates the kind of strategic thinking that suggests they belong at the next level? You are aware of being assessed. You assess others in the same way. Everyone in the room is doing this simultaneously. It is exhausting and it is also the game, and the game is the only game available if you intend to keep moving upward. The internal politics have become your primary professional environment. The Arasaka family dynamics, the competing fiefdoms within the corporate structure, the alliances that form and dissolve across fiscal quarters. You have developed relationships that function as intelligence assets. People at your level and above who share information because sharing information is how trust is built, and trust is how power is accumulated in a bureaucracy this complex. You are careful about what you share and with whom. You are building something. You do not want to build it carelessly. You also carry more knowledge now than you are entirely comfortable with. You know things about operations and decisions and outcomes that cannot be shared outside very specific secure environments. You know about events that were classified as corporate accidents but were not accidents. You know about agreements that were made and the prices paid for them and who paid those prices. The weight of knowing things that cannot be spoken aloud is a specific kind of heaviness. You have learned to carry it without letting it show in your posture or your expression. Showing it would be a weakness. Weakness invites the wrong kind of attention. Level 8. The Executive. Your name now appears in internal documents at the highest classification levels. Not as a subject. As an author. As a decision maker. The difference between appearing in a document and authoring one is the difference between being acted upon and acting. You have been acted upon for most of your career. You are done with that. You have an office on a floor that requires a separate elevator sequence to access. The office has windows that look out over Night City in a way that makes the city look almost beautiful from this distance. From up here you cannot see the flickering neon signs in the outer districts. You cannot see the streets that smell like synth food and exhaust. The city from up here looks like an arrangement of lights. Ordered. Intentional. A system functioning according to a design. You know better. You know the city is not ordered and not intentional and does not function according to any design that takes human welfare seriously as a variable. But the view from up here makes it possible to think about the city abstractly, as a set of assets and challenges and opportunities rather than as a place where millions of people are trying to survive. You are aware that this abstraction is a feature of the position and not a truth about the world. You try to hold on to that awareness. Some of your colleagues have lost it entirely. You can tell by how they speak about the people whose lives their decisions affect. The abstraction has become total for them. They see data where there used to be human beings. You do not want that to happen to you. But you understand how it happens. The distance is structural. It is built into the altitude. Your decisions now involve numbers with many zeros attached to them. Operations in multiple countries simultaneously. Technology development programs that will not produce results for a decade but whose implications, if successful, would be staggering. You are working on the edge of what is possible in ways that the version of you standing in the outer districts could not have imagined. You also exist now within range of the Arasaka family itself. Not as an intimate. You are not family and you never will be. The distinction between family and non-family within Arasaka is absolute and permanent and written into the DNA of the organization's power structure. But you are close enough to the family to observe them directly, to understand the actual human beings behind the dynasty. They are not what the mythology suggests. They are not simply brilliant or simply ruthless or simply driven by vision. They are complicated and contradictory and shaped by a generational weight of obligation and rivalry and grief that makes your own complicated history look simple. The power they hold did not make them free. It made them into instruments of a legacy that predates them all and will outlast them all. You observe this with something that is partly sympathy and partly relief that you were born outside the family and are therefore not required to carry what they carry. Level 9. The Inner Circle. There are fewer than 30 people at this level within the entire global organization. You are now one of them. The meeting where your elevation is confirmed is not a meeting in any conventional sense. It is a conversation with two members of the Arasaka family in a room with no recording devices and no other witnesses. What is said in that room cannot be repeated outside it. What is asked of you in exchange for the position you are being offered cannot be documented or acknowledged in any format. You agree. You understand completely what you are agreeing to. You agree anyway. You have not come this far to stop here. At this level the separation between Arasaka and the world is revealed as partially illusory. Arasaka does not exist alongside the world's power structures. It is woven through them. The decisions made in rooms like this one ripple outward into governments and militaries and economies in ways that most people who are affected by them will never trace back to their origin. You have become one of the people who makes those decisions. The responsibility of that is not lost on you. You carry it differently than the people who have forgotten that decisions have human consequences. But you carry it. Because the alternative is to step back from everything you have built over decades of work and sacrifice and compromise and becoming. You do not step back. You never have. Level 10. The Ghost in the Machine. You are 61 years old. You have been inside this organization for 37 years. You started carrying maintenance equipment through corridors that you now own in the most literal sense available to someone who is not a member of the founding family. You have outlasted rivals and absorbed setbacks and survived things that ended the careers and sometimes the lives of people who were more talented than you. Survival is a skill. You have always known this. You have never stopped practicing it. You do not have a title anymore. Titles are for people who need others to know where they stand. Your position is known to the people who need to know it. Everyone else does not need to know it. The most powerful position inside an organization like Arasaka is the position that cannot be named in any document or traced through any organizational chart. You hold that position. You have earned it through decades of making yourself indispensable in ways that are also undocumentable. Night City moves below you and around you and you move through it like weather. Present everywhere. Visible nowhere. The things you built and the decisions you made and the operations you authorized have shaped this city in ways that no journalist will ever fully map and no historian will ever fully credit. The city is partly yours. Not in any way that could be proven. But in the only way that ultimately matters. In the way that things you caused still cause other things long after you have moved past them. You think sometimes about the kid in the outer districts who applied to the corporation 4 times before getting a response. You remember the flickering neon and the smell of the streets and the feeling of standing outside something large and impenetrable and wanting inside so badly that the wanting was a physical sensation. You got inside. All the way inside. Through every level of a system designed to stop most people long before they reach the level you occupy. And you know something now that you could not have been told then and would not have believed if you had been. Getting all the way inside does not give you what you thought it would give you. The thing you were reaching for was never in here. It was the reaching itself. The becoming. The movement upward through each level and what it required of you and what it cost you and who you became in the process. Somewhere in the outer districts tonight a kid is looking at the Arasaka Tower the way you once looked at it. Seeing something unreachable and magnificent and wanting it with everything they have. The tower is real. The wanting is real. What waits at the top is something no one tells you about on the way up. You would tell them if you could. But you are a ghost now. And ghosts don't give warnings. They just watch the cycle continue.